Hey, what's up guys? Houston here, back out on the road, and man, where I'm at, it is cold, okay? Because coming up through the pass, it was snow, and if anybody or the first person that can actually tell me where I'm at, what I'll do, I'll send you a shout out in my next video, all right? Now, I wanted to talk to you all about some of these loans and what I mean about a guaranteed loan. But let me ask you, have you guys ever tried this? All right. If you type in class action, okay. So if you follow me, you may have heard me say this, and people are getting money from this. Okay. So with this class action, what it is, you go to Google, type in classaction.org. These are corporations that have been sued by the federal government, and the government has all of this money sitting in a till, right? And so you do not have to have a receipt, okay? You go there and you just go down, look at all these companies that have had a class action lawsuit. And again, you do not have to have a receipt. What you do, you're gonna put in you're gonna choose which ones that you may have purchased products from, okay? And then you can actually put in a claim for that. This actually works. I have seen people get a couple $1,000s from this. So that's the reason why I'm asking you, have you ever tried this? Another thing, I've been telling you guys about unclaimed.org. I'm gonna talk about the loans, but I want to get you other ways to get money into your pocket as well. With unclaimed.org, where you go to the website and you put in your name and your address, and you can do this for every city on unclaimed.org that you stayed in, every city and state that you stayed in, and it will tell you if you have any money that the state is holding that you can actually claim. And you can do it for relatives. I always tell you, do it for your whole family, because they may be having money there that they're not aware of either. Okay? So another place, and please understand, I know some people like, well, I heard that before. The thing about it, my videos is to help our community. Okay? And for those that may not like me doing that, I can't help you. All right? But I'm not going to stop trying to find resources to help our community. All right? That being said, I told you guys to go to findhelp, findhelp.org, right? Just put in your zip code. It gives you all the nonprofits that you can actually reach out to help you with your rent, your utilities. If you have a baby, if you have medical issues, this is what findhelp.org is for. Now, that being said, going back to these loans, places that you have a higher chance of getting approved for the loans, like I said, it's going to be platforms, okay? Platforms is the key. And yes, they do form out your information, but I'm telling you, you will have a higher chance because they're going to be using tribal lenders, all right? And now, unfortunately, with tribal lenders, they will charge you a higher interest rate, but at the same time, you have a better chance of approval, especially when you have bad credit. I'm gonna step back in here because it is cold out there. I'm telling you. It's colder than where I stay up at, and I'm in the mountains. That being said, going back to what I was saying, like, let's say platforms, like there's two platforms with the same name, all right, but they serve a different purpose, all right? So you have Viva Loans, they go up to $15,000, right? Then you have Viva Payday Loans, they only go up to $5,000. Now, the Viva Payday Loans, their interest rates start at about 5.99, okay? But the platforms is where you may want to consider starting out at. Then, again, going back to your CDFIs, your Community Development Financial Institutes, again, with those, one that's starting to become real popular is people trust loans. People trust loans. They go up to $10,000. Okay, and they are a CDL5. You all heard me mention Opportune that goes up to $10,000, but these CDFIs, they are a little more flexible, and they give more money than like when you go to a credit union. If you have a relationship with a credit union, most credit unions, they don't go over $2,000, but you may be needing like $5,000 or more. So that's the reason why it's certain institutions you have to go to, especially when you have bad credit. All right. Now, when you have good credit but you have a high debt to income ratio, then this is where like you would go to like Universal Credit, right? So with Universal Credit, because they operate with a high debt to income ratio of up to 75%. However, you do have to have a 2-year-old credit file, okay, with at least 2 trade lines on it, okay? Now, they would work with you when you have a high debt to income ratio. And they do say that they work with people with bad credit. However, if you have bad credit and you go into a platform like that, you have to make sure you have strong income. And so with strong income, I'm telling you, you should be making at least $45,000 or more annually, okay? If you're going to use that type of platform when you have bad credit and high DTI, you're definitely going to have to use stronger income. All right. Now, another thing that most people don't realize with some of these platforms, if they see that you already have multiple loans out, I'm not talking about the loans that don't report, like Viva Payday loans. See, they don't report. Okay. So that's the reason why I always tell you that that's a good type of loan to have, because it's not going to show up on the personal credit, right? And you can use that to pay down your accounts. However, when you looking at other loans that are actually going to report, now that's where you're going to have a problem at. So that's the reason why I tell you, when you have like multiple loans, it's kind of challenge. It's even more of a challenge for you to get another loan since you already have 2 maxed out loans. All right. So that's the reason why I tell you, you have to use certain platforms in order to get around that. That's the reason that I tell you about like big buck loans, because it's another lender that gives up to $5,000. But again, it doesn't report. That's the reason why I keep telling you guys, it's not just about the credit. You have to make sure you're going after the right type of loan that's not going to hit your credit when you already have bad credit or you have a high DTI. You have to switch it up. All right. So that's the reason why I continue that. And another resource that people aren't paying attention to, I continue to tell you, like with you having a car. When you have a paid off car, I know some people don't like to think about getting a title loan or whatever, but hey, if you're not running a business with that car or whatever, if it's just sitting up there, or you may be using it to go back and forth to work, but like with Yendo giving you up to $10,000, can that $10,000 help you catch up on some bills, or pay down some of your debt? Also, you may want to do the simple hack, going over to Credit Karma and disputing all of your negative items off your off your Equifax and TransUnion. Okay, so your Vantage score can go up. And then when you have a higher Vantage score, then you would look for credit unions that actually offer loans for a Vantage score. So that would be like BCU, Baxter Credit Union, TransUnion, Vantage 3, lenders like that, easy hanging fruit type of lenders that are willing to work with you to give you that second chance. All right. So that's the reason why it's not just a one situation fits all. So when I'm sharing information with you, I'm not just talking directly to you. There are more people that have different situations that I try to cover so that way they don't feel left out. Because there's certain things that I may say that do not appeal to you that they feel that they can benefit from. So when people say, well, I heard that before, okay, then it ain't for you. But there's always somebody that needs help, and they may not have found the right resource to help them. So that's the reason why I'm always telling you guys, everything that I say is not going to be the same. It's not going to fit the same situation. So you have your direct tribal lenders. Those are the ones that hit a lot of people, is because they're easy money. Yeah, they're easy money, but the interest rate, just keep in mind, the interest rates are definitely going to be higher. Because you have like Bison Green loan, right? They'll give you a loan for $2,500. But at the same time, the interest rates is going to be high. Then you have Explore Credit. They'll give you a loan for $2,000, and these are tribal type of lenders, direct tribal lenders. You have Credit Fresh that gives you $5,000, which is a direct tribal lender. So you have all of these different lenders that will give you money, but it's just certain criteria. If you don't meet those criteria, they will not be able to help you. So that's the reason why I continue to share this information. As I find new lenders that offer more flexibility and stuff, I'll bring them to the market. I'll share them with you because I'm always learning to see which ones that are most favorable. But when you have bad credit, you definitely want to try to find lenders that are not going to do a hard pull on the credit and that are not going to report that loan on the personal credit, because that'll also affect your DTI. All right. So I hope this video helped you. If you have any question about business credit funding, personal credit funding, removing negative items off the credit, click the link in the description. Schedule a one-on-one consultation. Thanks.